Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the New Earth Love podcast. In this podcast, we have conversation between the masculine and the feminine to build trust and understanding between the gender and create more peace and love in the world. And today I'm here with Christina. Hello.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. And I'm excited to dive into our topic. And for everybody else watching and listening, I'm a personal growth coach and I work with people to reconnect to the truest version of themselves. So to kind of understand and identify those patterns that are holding them back from kind of interacting more intentionally with life instead of just defensively reacting to it.
Hmm. Personal growth. Amazing.
Yes,
And you have
yes.
some social media and website and yeah, different links that I'm
Uh,
gonna put down in the description as always, so that you can follow up with Christina if you want. And our topic for today is doing versus being. And I like to use this moment to just drop into being and yeah, check in like how we are both feeling. And if you like, you can start and just like share whatever comes. How are
Yeah.
you today in this moment?
I am feeling excited because we've tried this a couple of times, and so I'm excited that we're able to dive in this time and excited to see where the conversation goes. And I'm always a little bit nervous. This podcasting is still on the newer side for me, but it's always kind of excited nerves. So.
Right. Yeah, it makes total sense. Mm, yeah, I'm feeling quite spacious, I would call it. Um, Still waking up. It's like 8 in the morning here. So this is usually my time to channel and connect with my intuition and whatever wants to come through. So yeah, I'm very like, let's say open and kind of neutral, like a blank sheet, wearing white, both of us.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so just really curious what's coming. So the being anchored in being is pretty much what's here now, which is good. hmm So yeah, the topic being versus doing. Anything coming up for you straight away that you would like to bring to the space?
I think where I am right now in my journey is trying to balance the two because, especially, I'm in Canada and especially in so much of North America, it's so much of the focus is on doing and
Mm,
being productive all the time on what's your next step. And so when you're not entirely sure what the next step is when you're kind of waiting for that next step to reveal itself and for you to feel kind of drawn or called to it. It's definitely a challenge to feel at peace with the being in the in
mm.
between.
Yeah, I totally get that. Something that helps me a lot to, as a man, I would say also like because we talk in polarity here, right?
Yeah.
Masculine, feminine. For me, the being is more the feminine and the doing is more the
Mm.
masculine, and it needs
Yes.
both always, right? And for example, I've done like this tiny Lego a few days ago.
Thank you.
My partner, she has two kids, and I was getting like a little Lego for everybody. And this is like, I don't know if you see that on camera, but it's like the teeniest, tiniest Lego pieces
Tiny, tiny
ever.
pieces.
Like, look how
Very
tiny they
small.
are.
Yes.
I just dropped like an even tinier piece. And yeah, so this is like a doing, obviously, to follow the tutorial, the description. Uh, but it's not serving any higher purpose in my business or in my personal development or like it's like it's what kids do, right? They just do.
Playing. Yeah.
They build a castle out of sand and then they destroy it. And adults
Mhm.
are like, why did you build it in the first place? And they're just because, you know. So
Yeah.
for me, a bridge between um, doing and being, or like to come back into being. Like what you said is very true for me too. Like I think it's not just in Canada that yeah, that the doing is much more present.
Mm.
So to do something that doesn't really serve a higher course or destination can help to drop into being. That's something I
Yeah.
wanted to express. And in these moments of just doing something, like I have such a extensive morning routine that I didn't do today because we have this early call and I want to be available considering the time zones. And at the same time, it's such a blessing for me that I know what my rituals are in the morning. Going for a barefoot walk, having my cacao, and doing always the same yoga sequence, 20 minutes, so I don't have to think. I just do it, and I know my body feels better afterwards. Breath work, whatever, and I like all these things. It's like some years ago, I would have judged myself for like
Mm.
prioritizing like fun things so much and not just like jumping up and going to the laptop and answering emails and whatever. But I get the best ideas. There's this principle in Taoism called Wu Wei. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
It says the connection is unstable. I hope you hear me still.
I can hear you.
Great. So Wu Wei means achievement through not doing.
Okay, yes.
And so that's how I translate it. And I experienced that quite a lot. Like if I'm trying, like what you also said, to get things done and focus on an agenda, and write everything down like Tetris, like, there's a free time spot, I can do this. That's what I used to do before my burnout, really like
Mm.
having everything planned. And like I'm from Germany, so we are quite used to being on schedule.
Yes.
And yeah, in that sense, I had like a really German upbringing and used to be a math teacher, right? So
Right.
a kind of structure and planning in mind was my jam, which was a lot of protection also because my heart was very close. So it was a lot of self-protection. Um, and I sometimes have these glitch moments where I'm like, when some anxiety comes up, some fear in my system, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I should like have more of a plan and of a schedule and just like follow along and and then to hold myself in that and drop back into being and
Yeah.
into, well, you can't control anything ultimately, so just let it go.
Yes, yes. I feel like I'm coming down from working through some layers of kind of exactly that, where, building this new career and trying to fit everything in that I can and put myself out there in all the new ways. And as some things kind of fell apart, which without any of my control, I started to take it really hard, and feel really badly about myself. And so I was falling into old patterns and old beliefs. And so having to work through deeper layers of, my worth isn't based on my productivity, and to trust the timing and the unfolding of my life, and that I don't have to control everything. I don't have to control anything.
Hmm.
I just get to play and interact with what's happening around me. So I've definitely been working through some deeper layers of that recently.
Hmm. Awesome. I also want to use this opportunity to remind everybody who's watching that this is an interactive platform, so you can do comments and likes and hearts or whatever is available here. You can subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And especially, I would love to know, we would love to know what your perspective is on being and doing. Maybe other topics also that you would like to bring into the podcast that you would like us to talk about. So yeah, and of course also if there's questions, if there's anything you didn't get or want to follow up with, use it. That's why we're here. Yeah, being versus doing. Mm, what helps you more to drop into being?
So connecting to my body, I think, is probably the most important thing that I can do because it helps to slow me down.
Mhm.
So similar to you, I used to kind of wake up, roll out of bed, and hit the ground running with work. And it's really been in the last couple of years that I've really carved out a morning routine to take care of my emotional self, my
Mm.
body, and connect to myself before jumping into all of that. So I similarly start with yoga and some meditation, sometimes breath work. That part changes a bit from here and there, and mirror work and such. And I always thought, I don't have time for this. I have to get going. There's too much work to be done. So that's really helped me kind of change that balance of doing versus being.
Mm.
And so when I'm feeling like I'm getting caught back up in the doing and kind of over focusing on that, tuning into that even more. So I start my day that way. Maybe I also end my day with a quiet bath, or I take a break in the middle of the day. It's winter here in Canada right now, so it's not always the most enjoyable to go out for a walk, but
Mm.
just being outside and getting some fresh air and such. So that typically helps me reconnect to the being.
Mm. Yeah, the morning ritual also for you. What
Yes.
what has been challenging for me at times because the habit of being efficient is so strong to that's also why I use actually ritual and not routine, and why I'm
Mhm.
using devotion and not discipline. So if I'm disciplined in my routine, it's more of a robotic approach. That's how it feels. And
Right.
if I am dedicated or devoted to my ritual, that feels much more self-loving. So, and I'm really convinced that our language creates reality. The words we speak, the way we perceive them is is a reflection of our inner world, right? So, and for me, there was moments in the past where like I did some personal development, but it was more surface level because I didn't know how to work with emotions and with the body yet, which is what I learned through hypnotherapy, which is also what I'm offering now as a therapist
Mm.
and coach. Because the focusing on the mind is so strong. Like, don't know if you experienced that as well, but like all the books that
Mhm.
would fall into my hand, I was super dedicated to my growth. But all the books I would find, they were like about doing stuff. You know, like I remember one
Yes.
book that I
Yes.
I don't want to say I hate, but that at the time I really liked reading it, but I'm really critical towards it. It's called The Happiness Equation. And the author is kind of just like
Okay.
dropping different things that you can do, like a random act of kindness and other things. And if you do all the things like from the list, then you're gonna be happy. So I was really like doing all the things. And sometimes there was like a little bit more
Yeah.
of an uplift, of course. If you feed a hungry dog, like, of course, you feel better in the moment, but it's not really like long-lasting change. And it's trying to trick the nervous system into being happy, happy, happy all the time, you know? And that's just not how it works in my
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why I'm bringing all this up is like when I did at the time, it was a routine. It was my morning routine. So I tried to do things that other people told me they
Mhm.
are good for you, you know, doing yoga and meditation and whatever. So I
Mhm.
did it kind of more mechanically. But the whole time I was waiting, like, "Oh, when am I gonna finally
Yeah.
feel better? So this is not working for me, you know, like I'm not doing it right." So I was like super self-critical that I'm not doing it right
Yeah.
and that I'm stupid because I'm following the book, you know, like for example, the happiness equation and other books that I was reading at the time,
Mhm.
and expecting uh, if I would be good enough, then these things would work and then I would feel better, like kind of a machine, you know, that my body's a machine. You put something in and something's coming out.
Yeah.
And if it's not coming out, what other people say it should come out, then I am broken. And then realizing over
Right.
time by
Right. Yeah.
opening my heart more and more and discovering myself through the body, through my sensations and emotions, like, okay, other people don't know who I am. Only I am the expert. Only I have authority about this guy. And finding out through trial and error, like what actually is fun for me in the moment. And through observation, rather than following a script or instructions, realizing what is actually serving me
Yeah.
to drop more into my being, which is where all the good stuff comes from in my reality, at least. Like when I'm really grounded and peaceful in my being, all that comes is just higher self channeling. It's not my mind. Like if I'm really rooted in the now, if I had an amazing massage, a good meal, I slept well, I'm feeling great in my body. So there's no trying to escape from something. I think this is something that's coming as well. Like the
Yes.
escaping, like trying to feel better. And then there's like the mind like, ah, you could do this, you could do this, you
Hmm.
could do this. And there's no inspiration in that. It's just like trying to escape, which is understandable. It's the job of the mind, right? To protect
Yes.
us.
I talk
Go ahead.
Yes, I talk about this a lot. Especially I started facilitating workshops last September, and in them I introduce people to all these tools, which is great, but I also include the caveat that these tools are not meant to help us bypass our emotional experiences. And if
Mm,
we're not familiar, if we've kind of lost touch with how to connect to our body and feel safe in our body, all we'll do is use these tools to bypass our experience, just like we
mm,
do with scrolling or numbing or other types of avoidance. It's
mhm.
just maybe a healthier version of it than just consuming, but it's
100%.
another form of it. So when we learn to create safety in our body, these tools help us be able to explore what's coming up emotionally for us so that we can understand,
Mm,
oh, where are these patterns coming from? What stories are coming up for me? What have I made this situation mean? And then we can work through them and start to relate to our emotions differently. And then that starts letting us respond differently to life. And then we start to break patterns because we're responding differently.
yeah, 100%. Like
Yeah.
highlighting what you just said, feeling safe in my body is kind of the baseline for wanting to rest in being.
Hmm.
Like if the moment I'm closing my eyes, I'm feeling my body, I'm like I'm having this inner like wow, it is in a scream,
Yeah.
then it's like why would I do that? Like it's much more fun to just do stuff and kind of bypass and then on some point I'm exhausted, I go to bed so I don't have to like think about it. That's how
Yeah.
I was going about my life
Yeah.
many years ago, just like busy and keeping myself busy, but with sometimes stupidity, literally, just
Hmm.
like doing stuff
Hmm.
to be busy. So I
Yeah.
don't have to fear what's underneath. Like if you
Yeah.
keep running, mm, then you don't feel that your legs are maybe sore and you actually need a
Yeah.
rest or whatever. So, and I have a really strong physical body in this life, so I'm blessed with a really resilient body, so I could push more than most people, I would say,
Right.
before I burned out, which is
Yeah.
great. But ultimately, the body still wants to like, you know, get
Yeah.
his needs
It'll like,
met. You're cutting out?
uh yes. Yeah. I I went through, oh, can you hear me?
Yes, no. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Am I clear now? Okay, great. I went through similar patterns as well, where it was how efficient can I be, and just trying to use these tools to make me feel better instead of actually feeling it and really embodying it. And so I come from a math and science background, so kind of similar to you with the math. So
Mm,
everything was top down, right? It was go through my brain first. And so I really wasn't connected to my body. And so I
mm,
found my personal growth was amplified when I started really tying in that connection to my body. So
mm. Would you like to share with us the milestones that you had in like connecting with your body? Like you mentioned yoga. Was that like a
mhm.
big one that you discovered or like what?
So I think the interesting thing for yoga with me was, I mean, I tried it over 10 years ago and I enjoyed it, but it was more of an exercise thing for me
Yeah.
at that time. And so it was still kind of in my head thing. And I didn't really feel connected to it through my
Mm,
body. And I did I went on a retreat in Mexico about a year and a half ago. And we started with yoga every morning, and something about that retreat, I just connected to it differently. It wasn't about exercise, it was about connecting to my different bodies, right? And just kind of building that foundation
Mm,
within myself. It was an opportunity for me to connect to me. Who cares about the workout part? Who cares about the exercise part? And so I've been able to maintain it because I took that part out of it. So that's been interesting for me.
mm, nice. So different inner attitudes
Yes.
towards the same thing. I actually resonate with that. When I first started yoga, it was also more like nice to stretch, and be more flexible. But yeah, when I really started bringing the breath into it, and I had some
Yeah.
really great teachers that brought the whole philosophy along. Mm,
Yes.
because I started with videos, I started with yoga
Hmm.
videos on YouTube. There's so many out there, and I still
So
do
many.
them. I love it.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. The inner attitude is everything.
It absolutely is. I also talk about cold exposure sometimes. So just at the end of my showers, and again, being in Canada, it's winter right now. When you flip that water to cold, it's very, very cold.
Yeah.
And so I never look forward to it, but it's such a great opportunity to feel my body and to breathe through it and to practice breathing through discomfort. So then when I'm out in the rest of
Mm.
the world and something kind of catches my breath, like a shot of cold water, or I feel, rejected or frustrated or something, I've already proven to myself, oh, I know how to breathe through this.
Mm.
I'm safe, even though I'm uncomfortable, but I'm safe in my body. So that was
Mm.
another kind of milestone of connecting to my body.
Right. I just also want to use this opportunity to let everybody know here, like if you resonate with this and you feel like I want to feel more safe in my body, but I don't really know where to start. And it is really a tough one to start by yourself. Like when I kept trying for myself, I got so frustrated, and like for years and years I was doing self work practice, and on some point I was just collapsing, literally collapsing, and then finally reaching out to a therapist.
Yes.
So Christina and I, we are both coaches and therapists, and we love our work and we love to support you, to help you one on one. So there will be also links in the description where you can reach out to us. And at least for myself, I don't know about you, you can say a few words about that, but for myself and for most therapists, the first session is free. So if you have a feeling like that could be something for me, just to, dip the toes in and feel like, okay, how is that to be held by someone instead of doing it all by yourself, or like asking friends for support? Yeah, it is really a different game. Like it completely changed my jam. Like when I started, especially hypnotherapy, and going really to the body, to the subconscious mind, and digging out these layers that have been buried for years. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. Anything you wanna say about that from your side?
Sure. Yes. For me, I do discovery calls so
Mm-hmm.
that you can dip your toe in and see how it
Yeah.
feels, and see if you feel like we can connect and you can feel safe with me. Because the most important thing is that I create a safe space for anyone I'm working with.
Mm.
And I don't have a one size fits all approach. So we find the tools that work for you in the space that you're at right now. And if this
Mm-hmm.
one doesn't fit, we'll try this one. So I'm in it for the long haul, whatever that looks like. But
Yeah,
yeah.
you got your skill set and tools ready to
Hmm.
roll.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Um, so you can reach out to us if that resonates, to get started. And what I would love to talk about more is, on top of that, on top of doing the work with a therapist, what we can do, what both of us have experienced in our own lives, as ways to connect more with the body, like on a daily basis. Um, you mentioned the hot bath in the evening. That's something that I love to
Hmm.
do. If I have a
Hmm.
bathtub, to go there at least like every second day or something, to just like I'm Vata in like Ayurveda, I'm Vata
Mm,
type, so
hmm.
I get cold very easily. So being in a warm bathtub is like so soothing. What
Comforting.
we
Yes.
can go like
Yes.
one like what so you can bring one and then I can bring one like what.
Sure, sure.
Mm.
So another one that I do, so I do yoga in the morning, but I also shake my body. So
Mm.
I will just lay on my yoga mat and let my body shake and release any of that kind of survival energy that's generated just
Mm.
from anxiety that we don't even realize. So shaking is one that I also do daily.
Shaking, yeah. Running, like literally when I'm really in
Mm,
survival, to take my trainers and just go for a run, lowers cortisol levels. Like after half an hour, I'm just completely different. Taking a shower afterwards and just like rinsing that old energy off, it feels like it's like, yeah, it's like shaking literally, but you moving forward. So running
mhm,
is another one I do.
mhm.
Anything else from your side?
I also, so yeah, absolutely. So being outside and grounding or earthing. So whether it's if you happen to be by a beach, I am jealous of that. But I just
I
in the
am.
grass or on the ground, yes, I'm very jealous of that. And having my face in the sun, so getting that vitamin D exposure as well. So just connecting with nature and the natural world.
Mm. Don't be too jealous. It's raining for like the last 5 days, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's pretty cold outside actually. Um, and to be honest, like I lived by the beach like for years, and I'm not so excited
Mhm.
about it anymore. It's like, yeah,
Okay. You're used to it. Yeah.
it's lost its spark for me, to be honest. I love trees, I love forests way more. Yeah, so that brings
Yeah.
me to the next one, forest walks, like just
Yeah.
connecting, walking barefoot through a forest where it's quiet, where I can be by myself and just no phones, no people, just grounding myself literally, like putting the feet on the
Yeah.
ground. There's videos here on YouTube about that for sure as well. Um, that the electric what is it the static tension in your body actually dissolves when
Mhm.
you ground
Yeah.
yourself. So and I really experience that. I do that daily, just walking around barefoot as much as I can. That's another one
Yeah.
I can bring here.
Yeah. So I do that when the weather is nice in Canada, but
Mm,
when it's snowy, we there are grounding sheets and
mm,
such. So have to kind of get through with that until all the snow and the ice melts. What else do I do on a regular basis? I- A big part as well is nourishing your body, in a healthy way. I baked sweets for years, cakes and desserts, and I still love them. But making sure the focus is on whole foods, and nourishing foods as much as possible.
right. And I feel also like high quality food,
Yes.
like where it comes from, and also high quality in terms of how much you like it.
Mm,
Like at least in my upbringing, there was a lot of pragmatism around food. And just like, okay, we need to eat something, let's just go for a quick and cheap option.
right.
Whereas now I'm like, I'm celebrating eating. It's like I'm blessing my food before I eat it, and I choose really carefully most of the time. Yesterday I had a baguette in the evening that really hurt my belly actually, but
Uh,
most of the time I'm really like putting a lot of money into food and make sure I really eat what I feel like eating, and I smell the food. Yeah,
mhm,
smell is another one, so I'm bringing two here.
mhm,
Essential oils and just like being surrounded by fragrance that really gives me a good feeling that
mhm.
brings me into the now.
Yeah.
So being is all about being in the now. So
Yeah.
and for me, the bridge to being in the now is slowing down. And I like to slow down if I actually like what is happening.
Mm.
So the survival is fast. It's
Yeah.
it's like fifth gear or something like wow. And in order to drop out of that, when I'm in an airport, for example, it's I can slow down. I actively actually I put my music and I slow down because everybody's super fast. So I choose to slow down. But if I'm in a forest, so from fifth to third I can slow down. Everybody's in fifth in the airport and I slow down to three. And I don't even want to drop into one. I don't want to be fully aware of everything that's happened right now because it's highly overwhelming for me. I'm a highly sensitive person,
Yes.
so that's not nice. If I'm in a forest or right here in the middle of the rice fields, when I'm looking outside, it's just green, so it's much more fun to drop into being.
Hmm.
And so actually just question yourself, am I in a surrounding that is really beneficial for me, that is really aligned with what feels great in my body? And if the answer is yes, then it's much more fun to drop into that being. And if it's more of a like, oh no, I need to change this and that, and that's like actually it's not really beneficial for me, then it makes a lot of sense that your body's protecting you by not slowing down because you're in survival trying to arrive somewhere where you can slow down. So also trust that intuition that you
Yes.
have.
Yeah, that's a great point. And just the more that we learn to tune into our body, because certainly I know for me, for most of my life, when I talked about my feelings, it was intellectualizing them, right? It
Mm,
was kind of analyzing them and thinking about them and forgetting that there are actual sensations happening in my
hmm
body.
hmm
So learning how to tune into them and the subtleties and the nuance, and then
hmm
being able to explore, oh, am I attaching excitement to that or am I attaching anxiety to that? And being able to explore that way has been a really big part of my journey as well.
hmm Yeah. Good that you bring that up. I was in a men's circle yesterday with two friends.
Mm.
And yeah, men's circle have been like extremely transformative on my own journey, which is also why I'm offering them within my program. It's just it's a different quality to connection to just be with other men in a safe space. And one of the brothers was bringing into the space the desire to slow down and be more with each other instead of like just talking, talking about relationships and all the topics that we love, but it's like sometimes we can drop deeper by not saying anything and
Mhm.
just sitting in front of each other, looking in each other's eyes, holding hands, breathing together,
Yeah.
co-regulating.
Yeah, that's the word I was thinking when you were speaking. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
co-regulation is really a thing. It's an important thing.
Hmm.
This like I discovered that with my partner also more and more, who is a feminine radiance coach. So she's also working with women where I work with men.
Ooh,
Um,
beautiful.
and she she and I we do a lot of co-regulation, and I discover more and more that self-regulation is kind of it's a necessity in this society that is highly disconnected from each other that we need to develop. Mm, but it's not natural to develop it.
Mm.
Monkeys don't have self-regulation. They just
Right.
co-regulate all the time because we
Hmm.
are we are essentially pack animals.
Yep.
So it's like the illusion of if I have this amount of money and insurance and whatever, then I can be independent. You're never independent. You're always dependent on everybody around you if you want it or not. So and that's not the bad thing. It's just the way the human race is built, right? We are not snakes that are just
Mhm.
like hatching out of the egg and don't care about other snakes, they just go their way.
Right.
So the power of co-regulation, again, either with a therapist or with a partner, with a friend, you can establish these things to drop
It's
into
so
being.
powerful. Yeah, absolutely. I've experienced it with my partner as well when either one of us is having a really big emotional experience and you don't have to say anything. Just be there with
Yeah.
me and hold me or just look into my eyes. And even with my mom who recently had surgery, and I was with her for about a week as she was starting her recovery process. And the one night she was in so much pain and I couldn't take it away, but I could,
Mm,
use my calmness to help her kind of regulate. And so I just kind of crawled onto the bed next to her and just stayed with her and cuddled
mm,
into her. And I think that was the most helpful thing that could have been provided in that moment.
mhm.
So yeah, it's quite powerful.
Cuddles are very powerful,
Yeah.
for sure. Anything else that's coming up for you about being and doing?
I think the only other thing that really kind of had me thinking about this lately is the season. So again, where I am,
Mm.
it's winter, and there's such a societal kind of pressure that when the new year changes on the calendar, that we should know what our goals for the year are. And
Mm.
so we never have that kind of seasonality of rest and being and just kind of recouping like the natural world does. And we're expected to just go, and it's not natural.
Mm.
And it can feel very confronting to operate differently than everybody around you. And so just kind of remembering that it's okay to slow down, even though
Mhm.
everybody around you might be telling you, no, you got to keep going. It
Mm.
is okay to slow down.
Yeah. People project their own fears and insecurities into you slowing down. It's like, no, you have to run like
Hmm.
everybody else. Like you can't possibly slow down. You're gonna be eaten by tigers.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, very good
Yeah.
point. Very good point. And something I wanted to hopefully inspire with. You said like the New Year's, what's it called, resolution? Like when you say like, okay, for next year I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm going to do
Yes.
this. Okay. How about we change that to I'm gonna stop doing this, I'm gonna stop doing this, I'm gonna stop doing this. So, I don't know if you
Mm.
caught me, there was a glitch. Um,
Yes.
so
Release and
yeah,
yeah.
like how can I like conscious minimalism? How can I bring more spaciousness into my everyday life? How can I
Yeah.
let go more so that what stays is actually really me? That's what I discovered. One of the most powerful things. Like, there's
Mm.
one book by Karen Kingston called "Clear Your Clutter" with Feng Shui that changed my life. It's not just about like
Mm.
like where you put objects, but the baseline of that book is actually clear the clutter first. Like, the less you have, if it's a conscious choice, in the Western world, we have so much like nonsense actually laying around that we don't really need. Like by decluttering, by putting all the things that I don't really use, there's like exercises like putting all the clothes that you think like you might not need them, you put them in a box, and if 1 year later, and if you need really a piece, you take it out, and 1 year later, you open the box and the things that you didn't take, you just like give them away or you sell them or whatever. So like to really make sure that everything that is in your
Mm.
possession, that you have it and you actually use it. It has a function. Otherwise, it's just stuck energy that is cluttering your space.
Yeah.
And the same with activities and even with people. Yes,
And
I just said that. Decluttering your social
mhm.
surroundings is really, really beneficial as well. And it's fucking terrifying. I know from my personal experience many times. It is
It's
terrifying to let go of people and even initiate, like, hey, look, I see our paths are not aligning anymore. And I think it's better for me to let go and to focus on other things, on other people.
mm,
That can be even like a
yeah.
breakup in a relationship, but with friends, that's also a thing. Like I
Mm.
over the last 5 years of
Yeah.
transformation, I have been letting go of quite a lot of people, and it always brings me like closer to who I actually am. Like with the new people that I then attract, they are more matching the frequency where I am at. And I'm not saying in a hierarchy, like higher or lower
Mm.
vibe, like that people are just not reaching me anymore. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, alignment. Like you can take colors. Like red is not better
Mhm.
than blue. But if I used to play in team blue, and then I'm transitioning to purple, and at some point I end up red, and it's like I try to connect with blue, and it's just not working anymore. I was letting go one friend that I had for more than 30 years. I know him since his birth. So that was the most intense one. But I'm not gonna get into the story now. But it was just really not aligned. And I guess we both felt that, and it's really okay to let go with love. So
Yeah.
people, activities,
Yeah. And it takes
objects, yeah, decluttering.
even tools, a lot of, yeah, decluttering even our coping mechanisms. So a
Yeah.
lot of us focus on what tools can I learn, But at the same time, can we release the ones that are no longer serving us, that are no
Mm,
longer aligned with the life that we're building? So that as
100%.
well.
Nice.
It allows us, I think, all of this being to tune into the why of what we're doing instead of just like doing why, why do I want to, and who do I have to be to get to where I want to go?
Mm,
Instead of just what do I have to do, but who do I have to be, and do I want to be that person?
right. Is that a good finishing line for today?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Anything else? Any last words?
No, not beyond a thank you. So thank you, but no, no big kind of reveals on my end.
All right. Yeah. Then just from my side again, thumbs up, stars, hearts, whatever is available here helps us a lot to keep broadcasting this and reach more people because we want to help, we want to inspire.
Mhm.
Subscribe if you haven't already. Put your comments, your questions down, and hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for coming here, Christina. Have an amazing rest of your day. And
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
yes, enjoy your being.